is the best password manager for my Twitter? You can see this is for the Twitter that I don't actually have because Twitter's a garbage app, and if you're on Twitter, you've made a big mistake and I would delete it immediately. But if you like hanging out in the bathroom of the internet, have fun at Twitter. No, what we're really going to talk about is passwords. Should you use password managers? What passwords are good? Should you use things like LastPass or OnePass or Take My Passwords or Take My Info or whatever these companies are? Should you use them, or is there a better way? Let's go all into this topic on Operation Passwords. All right, I joke, but passwords is actually a really serious topic. It is literally the key to your digital life, and your digital life has started to become your real life over the last decade. Now, there's a lot of thought on passwords. I made this kind of as a joke. I put it on a playing card. More on this later, though. I'm going to give you some very valuable insight, so make sure you buckle up and stay into this video, because I'm going to give you a lot of tips you can actually use. But yeah, so, you know, you can see my username, Cody Ace. Stupid. Everyone knows I'm very skilled at sleight of hand and with a deck of cards. Anybody who's ever met me in real life has been blown away by what I can do with a deck of cards. So if I do something like Cody Ace or Cody Cards or something stupid, I play poker on a high level here in Vegas. Pretty stupid to put what I love to do in my username or in my password. I put my password, King of Cards. Bad idea, right? So the first thing is passwords. Couple of ways you can do this. You can automatically generate them, or you can generate them yourself. I don't like the auto-generate. I don't trust any auto-generate passwords. I don't use them. Some people swear by them. I don't use them. What I use is password phrases. Let me explain. Red door, blue floor, orange sky, 8731791874, right? So you can rhyme them a little bit, or you can break them up like that. Now, what I'll do, like orange sky, right? Things aren't real, but things you can put in. Now, when I put in my password phrases, I'm going to alternate capital, lowercase, and a lot of time in between my phrases, I will put like $27 394, and then put like 3 or 4 special characters, right? The reason I do this is I get really creative with my passwords so I can remember them. And actually, I've got a really good memory. So 70% of my passwords that I use at least weekly, I can remember all of them. I mean, my password to get in my MacBook Pro or my iMac Pro or any of my computers or well, my phone, I think you have like 6, what is it, like iPhone or Android? Yeah, you have like, I think maybe 6 or 8 characters, 4 to 8 characters typically. But my computers, they're super long. And it's because I put these passphrases together, and in my head, I say them over and over, so I say them. So, remembering them in your head is not a good strategy. I'm blessed with a ridiculously good memory. Most people are not, and even if you are, and even me, like I said, I can remember about 70%. But if you don't use a password for a while, you will forget no matter how good your memory is. You could have the best memory in the world. You could be a memory champion. There are people out there who are literally memory champions. It's mind-blowing. But at a certain level, you need to be able to have a backup to your passwords. Now, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't recommend any of these password services. First of all, I think putting your passwords in one location is the dumbest thing you could do. Now, you might be saying, well, Cody, they say they're encrypted. Yeah, I mean, here's my problem with a lot of this. Your bank is encrypted, and banks have been hacked and broken into. The government they've got encrypted data that has been stolen. You know, encryption is great, and I'm a huge proponent of encryption, and encryption is very important, and I think you should encrypt everything. I've done videos here on this channel on VeraCrypt and other encryption services that I recommend you use highly, and I highly recommend you check out those videos because it's really, really important. But what can you do with your passwords? Well, the first thing is I change all of my main passwords. So I'm talking computer, if you do online banking, I'm talking like my main accounts, anything that's really important. I change typically on a monthly basis. Every month. I say, and you have to put it on your calendar. I put it on my calendar in my schedule. Password. It takes me like an hour. It's like a legitimate, you can't just be like, I'll get to it when I get to it. Because next thing you know, a year will go by and you haven't done it. I have to literally physically put it in my calendar and make time to change my passwords. And it's not something I can delegate to somebody on my team. I have to do it. So, well, there are people who have some of my password, but my main stuff, I have to do it, right? So you've got to make time for that. Now, all the rest of the passwords, that the password to my Discord or the password to my Reddit, like I change all that stuff quarterly. Okay, so those things I change quarterly, the things that I don't, it'd be a bummer if somebody broke in, but I really don't. Wow, unfortunate, you know. Also, shout out to my Discord, just hit 400,000 people. That's awesome. But anyway, when you're on, you know, things like that, it's either a 1 month or a 3 month schedule. 1 month or 3 months. Whichever one, go for it. Then the next thing is, where do you put your passwords? Well, I don't use any of these password services. I also don't put my passwords on my computer. And you never text passwords. Ever text passwords. So everything needs to be written down. And then, what do you do with it? Well, I do two things. One, I have a list of passwords that I have on an encrypted file that I put on a hard drive, and the hard drive is air gapped. What do I mean? Basically, it's unplugged. So I've got a special hard drive where I can put together a text file, encrypt that text file, put it on a hard drive. The hard drive never is online unless I physically plug it in, and then I have to decrypt the hard drive. Then I have to decrypt the file through something like VeriCrypt. And then I have passwords. Now that is my backup system. That is my backup system that I never use. Now my next option is I literally write passwords down, not on a playing card, but like a sheet, and I keep that sheet in my safe. Now, I live in a very secure home, in a very secure gated community, in a very nice area of the world. I have a really nice safe, and so for somebody getting in my community, in my home, and in my safe is not impossible, but if that happened, the last of my worries is my passwords. So the likelihood of this getting stolen from me, very, very slim. Now, some of you might live in college dorms, some of you might live with your parents, some of you live in a house but you have housemates, or maybe you have people coming in and out of your house. Maybe you live with a roommate and your roommate's always having parties. None of that happens in my house. Almost nobody goes anywhere near any of that. Literally nobody. Literally, again, somebody would have to break in with the actual intent to try to break into my safe. And this is going to be a chore. And you'd have to do it with what? Without me knowing, without my security cameras and all that. Like, so if you live in a very secure situation like me, I recommend having them in your safe. Again, if somebody gets into my safe, the last thing they're going to care about is my passwords. A lot of other things they're going for well before my passwords. Having a physical copy is good, but you need to make sure your safe is fireproof, and you need to make sure your hard drive is in a separate location. Now, if you can do it, having a hard drive in one location and a safe in another location, for example, a hard drive at your office, a safe at your house. Should you keep the stuff on your computer ever? No. What if it's my encrypted hard drive with my encrypted file, but it's plugged into the internet? No. It needs to be a hard drive that is never plugged into the internet unless you are literally specifically using it right now, and then you're wiping everything and unplugging it. Okay? It needs to be online as little as possible. Very, very, very important. Also, it needs to not be connected to the internet when you're pulling it up. That's vital. And that's what a lot of people forget. You can turn that off and then decrypt everything and pull everything up. So keep in mind that when you're setting this up, you need to have the fail-safes. So what if you don't have a safe? Hard drive, I would recommend getting a hard drive, putting your most important stuff on it, encrypting the hard drive, encrypting the files that you put on the hard drive. So you encrypt the files, you put the encrypted files on the hard drive, and then the hard drive's encrypted, or if it's not, you encrypt the hard drive, which most decent hard drives are that's very easy operation to do. And then it's connected to nothing. And then ideally you put it in a fireproof safe, or you put it in someplace secure. That should be your most important digital documents. It should not be a hard drive that you have, like I've got a 4 terabyte hard drive on my desk over there that I upload videos on all the time. When I edit videos, and I'll put videos, because I have 4 YouTube channels, so I'll edit videos for different channels like this one or different ones that I do, and then I'll put the videos on there and then I'll move on, right? Well, when that hard drive's full, I'll swap it out for another 4 terabyte hard drive and put that one in the safe. But that's just videos. What's somebody gonna do? Break into videos? They're all public anyway. It's just my backup copy. So that's not important. But my hard drive with all my important stuff is not connected to my computer on a regular basis. That is stupid. So that everyone should do. That's a lot better than some password service. Now, could you do it in the cloud? If you're dead set on doing one of these encrypted cloud-based services, here's what I recommend. I recommend doing 2 or 3 of them and compartmentalizing. Having one, like what I do is, 1 is none, 2 is 1, 3 is better than 2. Reason being, these services get broke into all of the time. And now we live in an era where companies get hacked, banks get hacked, the credit bureaus get hacked, and they tell us 6 months or 2 years later, which should be a crime. So we really don't know who's getting hacked and who isn't, because it's so bad for business that a lot of people would rather get a lawsuit and not tell you if you find out than tell you and take the hit. That's how bad of a business climate we have right now. So if you are going to use those password services, I recommend using at least 2 of them. I don't use any of them, so I'm not going to recommend them here on this video. I've tried out several. There are some that are better than others, but nah, that's my system, and my system works really good. Also, having backups. So again, I'm not trying to get you to spend crazy money, but if you could swing it, it's not that expensive. Like I've got like probably 20 hard drives because I make stuff online. I get that the average person doesn't spend thousands of dollars on hard drives. So if at some point you could get maybe 2, you could have, again, a backup. So you have 1 at home, 1 at your office, or maybe you could store 1 at a relative's house. Maybe they have a safe. And what I would do, because again, it's all encrypted. So even if your relative decided to go against you, they'd have to decrypt the hard drive and the files, which hopefully the people you trust would never try to do that. But even if they did, the chance of them doing that is not likely. Okay, but let's say you got a relative who you really trust or a friend who you really trust. You each do this and you say, hey, I'll give you 1 of mine, you give me 1 of yours, I'll put them in the safe, you put them in your safe, and if one of us ever needs them, we can get them. That's the best system. So they have it at their house, you have it at your house. Let's say their house burns down, at least you can give them their hard drive with their backup information. That's a good option too. So there's options out there for you to do. The last thing you should trust is one of these services, but if you do, compartmentalize and use a couple of them. Which one's better than the other? None of them. None of them are great. You're just gonna have to pick 2 and then, split up your passwords, put some in one, some in the other. So at least when one of these services get hacked, it only hacks half your life instead of all of your life, right? So it's a better option. That's my take on it. Let me know what you do down below. Have an amazing day. Go all in everything you do. Be smart. Remember, privacy is a right. It's a right that needs to be protected. Nobody's going to protect it for you, so you need to use your voice to spread the message and understand that living a ghost life, starting a ghost business, living this lifestyle of privacy isn't anything other than a lifestyle that adds value to your life. In America, we got freedoms, we got a constitution, and we need to protect it. And in other countries, you need to stand up for yourself as well. Otherwise, these governments and these people in power are going to keep taking your rights because you let them. You got nobody to blame but yourself if you're not out there actively trying to make things better. Appreciate you checking out this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.